Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Lakers Talk with Gerald, episode 139. All right, everybody. Today, we're going to review the last night's game against the Golden State Warriors, preseason game number 5. Lakers lost to the Golden State Warriors last night, but overall, the best thing we're going to do is review the big three. The Lakers, for the first time during the preseason, actually all three of the big three, quote unquote, played together yesterday. That's LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. So they all played. So we're definitely going to review all of that. We're going to talk about how LeBron looked, how Anthony Davis looked, how Westbrook looked. We're also going to talk about the defense. How do we look playing together? What was the starting five? Did they look good? Did they look bad? Were there bright spots? We're also going to talk about other players that contributed pretty heavy, like Rondo. And then we're going to talk about Golden State. And then also we're going to look at the stats. And then I'm also going to play a little bit of audio from LeBron James because post-game talking about what he thought and a few other questions from them. So let's just get right into it. The Lakers' big three, finally seeing them together, seeing how they look. Up until now, LeBron hadn't played. So this is LeBron's first game in the preseason game number 5. Westbrook had already played 3 games, or this was his third game, and he hadn't looked, very impressive in the previous 2. So everybody was like, okay, he's just rusty. He just needs to get with LeBron James, and once LeBron gets there, it'll kind of mesh together, and they'll figure it out. That was one of the things I was curious to see myself. I wanted to know, when LeBron gets there, is it going to look like we think it's going to look? When he gets there, is he going to be able to mesh well? Who's going to play point guard? How often will Westbrook bring the ball up the court? How often will LeBron bring the ball up the court? How much are they going to get it down to Anthony Davis? Is Westbrook going to be able to mesh with Anthony Davis and to the point where he's throwing him lobs and things like that? Those were the things I wanted to find out. And this game did reveal a little something. LeBron James, let's just start with him. LeBron James looked good. He looked like LeBron James that from last year or before the injury, even though he's in year 19th, still defying these odds, looking like he could just do what he wants when he wants to do it. At least in the first quarter, in the first half, he was balling, driving to the basket, being aggressive, hitting his shots. He was shooting very good field goals, and he was good. Same thing with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was playing really good, hitting some shots, getting lobbed at the lob, playing well. Westbrook, he was okay. The biggest thing about what I saw is that they were trying to run often. As soon as they got the ball, the other team scores. Somebody's running out, throwing it in either to LeBron or to Westbrook. And whoever it went to, the other person went to the other side of the court and ran down court and played that wing. And, they would try to run up and try to fast break it or at least get into a good offensive, easy basket early. And, that's something that as they were trying to do it, there were a few turnovers at some times. There were a couple flashes that, oh, man, this could be great, where they would be able to, get to an open shot for Carmelo Anthony. And then the crowd would be like, oh, like if he would have hit it, the crowd would have went crazy. Or it'd be a nice pass down to that rookie we have, Reeves, for open layup, and he would, miss a reverse or something that would have made the crowd go crazy. So there were a couple of spots and times where you're like, man, you can see where this is going to be exciting basketball. But you also were times where you're seeing like there's a lot of turnovers and there were a lot of busted plays, and especially on defense. That was just an offense, but on defense it was definitely a whole lot of missed plays and misreads, and also Golden State, even though they didn't play with Curry and their big three, their team, they play a lot of team ball, and more of their team was together last year, and they kind of know how to play together. They're a team that's constantly running and moving and cutting, and you got to be quick and you got to be communicating really well as a team to be able to stop them from getting easy baskets. And they were doing just that. They were getting a lot of easy baskets on us. And so there were times where we got up to a 10-point lead in the first half, but they quickly erased that 10-point lead. And so that was one of the biggest things I noticed, is just like the defense. It was hard to tell what was happening, who was doing what wrong. Was it just they're not familiar with each other? Was it one guy missing reads and the other people had to compensate? or it was a combination of all that. It was a combination of them, Golden State Warriors, just knowing and how to cut and being on their spots and playing super hard, because they seemed like they were going a million miles per hour while we were kind of going 80 miles per hour. So that part too, I'm kind of wondering, is that just we're just trying to get our legs? Are they playing super hard on us because we're the Lakers and we have all this hype and they just want to beat us, and so they're playing like this is the finals while we're playing like this is a preseason game, warming up for the regular season? And so my conclusion is a little bit of both. My conclusion is that they were playing hard as hell. They're playing like it's a finals. They're just gone, and they're just, playing hard. They're jacking up threes, and they're, passing, and they're passing so quick, and they're getting to their spots, and then they're shooting. And so, and also was a combination of us trying to get used to our defensive schemes with all these new players. I believe we have 11 new players. LeBron, AD, and THT, the only three guys returning from last year's roster. And so it really looked like that at times. But then, like I said, there were flashes of greatness can be here. So defense overall was pretty weak, considering, we did enough to, let's say if LeBron and everybody played the normal minutes, we probably could have won this game. But we were basically playing with like a 9-man rotation. That's the other part, is that, we basically played the starting five, which was Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, AD, Westbrook, and then Bazemore. Bazemore ended up starting, so he got the nod. As I mentioned, it was pretty much like a 9-man rotation, because the only people really that played real minutes was Dwight Howard off the bench, Rajon Rondo off the bench, Reeves off the bench, and then Brown played some minutes off the bench. And it wasn't until garbage time to where, the fourth quarter, where they played guys like Ayeyi, McClung, and Queen. So those guys really didn't get to play to the fourth quarter. And also this guy named Oliver, same thing. So the guys, the four guys off the bench was Howard, Rondo, Reeves, and Brown. 9 men, 5, that started. 4 of the guys. That's like a 9-man playoff rotation. And mind you, out of those 9, Reeves might earn some playoff minutes. Regular season minutes, because we have so many players hurt. Added to the list today was Ellington. He wasn't out. I kept looking around like, where's Ellington at? I hadn't heard anything about where he was and why he wasn't playing. But apparently Wayne Ellington, he was hurt. He had a grade 1 hamstring. And so who knows how long he's going to be out for that. Word is he'll be re-evaluated in a week. The regular season starts in a week. So it sounds like to me he will be out for the regular season. We are hoping Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn will be back. I believe Monk, something with his groin, and Kendrick Nunn, it's something with his ankle. So we're hopeful that those two will be ready by opening game, but we don't know that yet. So the rotation is going to be interesting. One other notable thing, Anthony Davis started at the 5 in this lineup. The one biggest thing I noted, even though he played well, is just the rotations. The rotations and the traffic, the spacing is, in the words of the coach, is that he didn't like the spacing, and he thought we're eventually going to get way better at that. In that lineup with Anthony Davis at the 5 is going to look way better. Now, I personally, I don't know. I want to see a majority of the games where, maybe, this is just my opinion, where we start a center and Anthony Davis at the 4, and then maybe play that guy, 5 minutes in the first quarter, and then move Anthony Davis to the 5 and bring in, like a Carmelo Anthony to, and then run that 5-man short lineup for a little bit, and then bring a guy in like Rondo, or Dwight Howard or something like that. That's kind of how I see it, because the way I see it, especially with us being kind of thin at the forward spots, we're going to need to eat up some of those minutes by putting some centers in there and letting AD play that 4 spot. That way we can bring some other guys like Carmelo off the bench and play that. Because, right now, with everybody hurt, really it's LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Anthony Davis. That's where we're at right now, because Ariza is hurt also. Otherwise, we would have a super small forward, which, Kent Bazemore would be playing. And so that's where I'm like, he's only about 6'5". Yes, suppose he has a decent wingspan, but he's a short by small forward standards. So we would be kind of undersized, in my opinion, in that lineup. But that's kind of what we went with tonight. All right. What was our best lineup? Well, I tell you what. The lineup that seemed to look the nicest is when Rondo was in there. Rondo came in, and Rondo was immediately throwing lobs to AD, and it was looking nice every time. Like, it's like it was normal. Like, this is normal. I just come in here, dribble here, throw it up here, and Anthony Davis is dunking it, and the crowd is going crazy because it looked nice, And he got 3 lobs I believe it was 2 or 3 lobs to Anthony Davis during this game. So everybody, that's more than Dennis Schroeder connected with Anthony Davis for the whole season last year. I just want to throw that out there. So when Rondo was out there, especially when he was playing with guys like, when LeBron and Carmelo Anthony, it was looking really good. I will not lie. I liked that. I liked him. And then I even liked him playing with Westbrook out there. It was so many minutes where he played with Westbrook. I can't say the number of minutes. I don't recall that. I didn't actually keep track, but he played a little bit with him too. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing during the season, which lineups, So I'm looking to see which ones we start with come a week from now. I think it's going to show come the next game against Sacramento Kings on Thursday night. According to Coach, we are going to play the Big Three again tomorrow. He said they're going to play a significant amount of the game. In last night's game, they played about 3 quarters. So they did play a good amount of minutes. It ended up in a loss, 99-111. We weren't down. Now, we were only down, I think, maybe 2 points or 3 points, something like that going into the fourth quarter, because that's about when all the starters, about for the most part, stopped playing, or the main rotation guys stopped playing. Even though it looked like Golden State was kind of, I'm not going to say outplaying us, but they were just out hustling us constantly, And like I said, it was 2 times. In the first half, we had a 10-point lead. In the second half, we had a 11-point lead, but both times Golden State was able to quickly erase both of those and then made it a back and forth game, or made it where the Lakers are, down to, tie game, now we're down 3, down by 1, that kind of thing, back and forth. So we weren't ever really able to stop them from scoring. We had a couple stretches where we stopped them on a few possessions, and we hit some, back-to-back threes or scores, and next thing you know, we're up 10 or 11, and you think like, yeah, okay, maybe we're starting something. Maybe we're going to start holding them and turn into a blowout. But we quickly found out that wasn't the case. But at the end of the day, it was a preseason game. We're getting our legs under us. Now, the one thing I will say that Golden State, I do believe they look, even though it's preseason game, I do think they have a nice little squad. I mean, because they don't even have, I think when they got like Jordan Poole, that guy looks like he's primed to be added to their Big Three. He looks like he's priming to be a primary scorer. Like, he can get 20 to 25 points a game. He actually led the preseason in scoring at about 25 points a game, is what they were saying coming into last night's game. So, I mean, he looked like he's not scared at all. He is definitely going to be, looks like he's going to be something. Like, Golden State has something. They got Wiggins. They got Steph Curry, of course. Eventually, they're going to have Klay Thompson coming back sometime this year. I do believe they're going to be a playoff team, and I do think they're probably going to be somewhere in the top 4 or at least top 5. They're definitely going to be a contending team somewhat during the regular season. So even though everyone says we have a weak schedule, but I think Golden State might be a problem during the regular season. And so we played them the very first home game opening, and I don't think that's going to be a walk in the park. I think we're going to have to play hard. I think we're going to have to play, everybody all the way through the fourth quarter. And I think it's going to come down to the last few minutes. And, I think we can pull it out. But, we do have a team of guys that aren't used to playing each other. But I do feel like them playing a lot of minutes together, we can figure it out. LeBron James still looking like he got that thing in him. Anthony Davis looking like a beast, gained weight. He's looking agile, doing, and then of course I think the more and more Westbrook plays, the more comfortable and the more he's going to start, the better he's going to start looking. And that can only bode well for our team. Not to mention guys like Carmelo Anthony can come in and ball at any time, get you 20. Guys like Rondo can come in. Last night he had 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 lobs to AD. Anytime he can come in and be that floor general. And then we got all these good, even that guy Reeves, a rookie, is looking like he's a nice little pickup. Hustling, hitting threes, look like he's playing pretty darn good defense for his age. And talking on defense and hustling and hitting a few threes every now and then. So I think we're on path to be pretty good. I have to see a little more. All right, let's take a look at the stats really quick. Just go over the game. Anthony Davis led all scores for the Lakers. He had 20 points. He played 30 minutes, 7 out of 12 field goals, 0 out of 2 from the 3-point line. He was 6 out of 9 out of free throws. He had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He was a +2 in this game. And it was only 3 players that had a plus in this game. Everybody else had a minus. So that goes to show, there's a few players that had really, really good impact. And one of those were Anthony Davis. The second one was, you guessed it, LeBron James. He had 17 points. He played 26 minutes. He was 7 out of 16 from the field, 1 out of 4 from the 3-point line. He made both of his free throws. He had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. He did have 6 turnovers, but he was a +2 once again. So, and then the third player that had a plus in this game was Rondo. Rondo played 21 minutes. He actually had a +6. So he had the best plus-minus in the game that showed that he really had the biggest change in this game. I saw a meme today that the Lakers' big 3 was LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Rajon Rondo. They said they had the best big 3 in the league. And I kind of laughed because last night he did look like that, Played 21 minutes. He was 2 out of 4 from the field and 2 out of 3 from the 3-point line, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover in that game, and only 1 foul. And he was +6. He had 6 points. But he just made a difference in the game. Played really well. And so Carmelo Anthony had 13 points, 25 minutes, 4 out of 12 from the field, 2 out of 7 from the 3-point line. Made all 3 of his free throws, 5 rebounds, and 1 block shot. Kent Bazemore played 20 minutes. He had 6 points, 2 out of 6, 1 out of 3 from the 3-point line. Westbrook had 10 points. He actually had 10 points and 10 rebounds. So he led us some rebounds in this game. He had 6 assists. He actually led in assists also. 5 turnovers, 1 block. And then the next guy I'm going to mention is Reeves. That's our rookie that we signed to the 14th roster spot. 1-year contract. 27 minutes, 3 out of 6 from the field, 2 out of 4 from the 3-point line. Made both of his free throws. Had 10 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block shot. So the guy was kind of, doing a lot of different things. I say he shot 50% from the field, 50% from the 3-point line, made all his free throws. I say that guy is contributing. I say he's doing pretty well. Just Guy Brown, he had 11 points, 5 out of 10 from the field. I'm not going to get into all his stats. And be honest, I'm not even going to get to the rest of these guys because most of these other guys aren't going to make the team. McClung, he got released today. And I believe he's getting signed with the Lakers affiliate G League team. They got this other guy, Cam Oliver, most likely going to get released. I don't see him making our 15th roster spot. Ayeyi, I think he's one of our 2-way players. I could be wrong. There's Brown. He's fighting for a 2-way spot. There's another guy called Queen. I believe most likely he's going to get released also. Probably go to the G League if that. But so that's what it is, everybody. That's the stats. Once again, Lakers lost 111-99. And what's next? The next for the Lakers is the Sacramento Kings. As I talked about, most of the Lakers will be playing in that game. I do look forward to seeing that game too because, that's our last preseason game. So I feel like they're going to take that more serious. We're going to see more of what the Lakers can look like come for their opening game. I will be at that opening game, everybody. So that's going to be dope. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. man, it's going to be on. So everybody, I think that's going to do it. I'm going to wrap it up for this episode of Lakers Talk with Gerald, episode 139. I'm officially out.